There is something no one ever tells you about women and intimacy. They don't decide it with their mind, they feel it with their nervous system first. A woman can be smiling, laughing, and talking to you and still not feel close to you. But when she suddenly becomes quiet around you, when her eyes soften, when her breathing changes, that's when intimacy has already started. And most men miss that moment. They think attraction is built by trying harder, by saying more, by doing more. But real attraction is built when you slow down and let her feel safe enough to want you. Today, I'm going to show you how to create that feeling. How to invite a woman into intimacy without being rejected. Not by begging, not by pushing, but by understanding how her emotional world really works. Listen carefully, because once you understand this, women will start leaning into you without you ever having to ask. Now let's begin. A woman never moves toward intimacy because of words. She moves because something inside her starts to melt when she's with you. Her body begins to relax. Her mind becomes quieter. Her awareness shifts from the outside world to the space between you. That's the doorway. Most men never reach that doorway because they try to force it open. They become nervous. They become eager. They become desperate to make something happen. And that desperation is what pushes her away. A woman is incredibly sensitive to emotional pressure. The moment she feels she is being pushed, her body tightens, her shoulders rise, her breath becomes shallow, her mind starts searching for an escape, even if she still smiles. But when she feels no pressure, when she feels no urgency, something very different happens. She relaxes, and relaxing is the beginning of desire. You see, a woman's body only opens when her nervous system feels safe. Safe to feel, safe to want, safe to let go. That's why men who rush always lose, and men who stay grounded always win. When you sit with her calmly, when you don't rush the conversation, when you let silences exist, her subconscious starts trusting you, because silence means you are not afraid of the moment. And when a woman feels that you are not afraid of the moment, she stops being afraid too. Her body begins to lean toward you. Her eyes stay on you. Her presence becomes softer. That is not an accident. Clears throat. That is her emotional world opening. And when her emotional world opens, intimacy becomes possible. Most men think they have to ask for intimacy, but asking puts her in her head, and her head is where fear lives. Instead, you let her stay in her body. That's why you never say, "Do you want to get close?" You simply say, "Come here." Not in a loud way, not in a demanding way, but in a calm, grounded way. That tone tells her everything. It says, "This is okay, this is safe, you can relax here." And when a woman feels that she moves slowly, naturally, without resistance because you didn't push her, you invited her. A woman wants to feel chosen, not chased, wanted, not pressured. That's why the energy behind your words matters more than the words themselves. You could say the same sentence two different ways, and one will create attraction while the other will kill it. If your voice is rushed, she feels unsafe. If your voice is calm, she feels held. And when she feels held, her body opens. You don't have to touch her immediately. In fact, waiting is what makes the moment powerful. When you sit close without touching, when your knees are near hers, when your shoulders are almost brushing, her body becomes more aware of you. Her skin becomes more sensitive. Her breath becomes deeper because anticipation is more intoxicating than action. This is where the real seduction happens. You let the space between you become charged. You let silence do the work. And then when you finally move, you don't grab, you brush. A soft touch on her arm, a gentle contact on her hand. That light touch sends a message straight to her nervous system. I'm aware of you. And being aware of her is what makes her feel desired. Most men think desire is created by intensity, but it's created by presence. By noticing her, by feeling her, by being fully there. When she feels that kind of attention, something deep inside her relaxes because she feels seen. And when a woman feels seen, she opens. That's why instead of saying, "I want you," you say something much more powerful. You say, "I like how this feels right now." That sentence does not demand anything. It simply brings her awareness to the moment. And when she becomes aware of how good the moment feels, she naturally wants to stay in it. You didn't ask, you didn't push, you simply let her feel. This is the dark psychology most men never understand. Women don't resist intimacy, they resist pressure. And when there is no pressure, there is no resistance. If she stays close, if she leans in, if she doesn't pull away, that is her yes. You never need to wait for words. Her body always tells the truth. And the calmer you stay, the more deeply she leans, because intimacy does not feel dangerous when it feels safe. It feels like something she has been waiting for. And when a woman feels that she doesn't reject you, she melts into you. If this opened your eyes, if you felt the truth behind these words, then you already understand how powerful emotional attraction really is. Make sure you subscribe to this channel because here we don't teach cheap tricks. We teach you how women truly feel. Like this video if you want more deep psychological insights into attraction, and comment below what you felt while listening. Because once you understand a woman's emotional world, you will never be rejected the same way again. A woman doesn't fall into intimacy in a sudden moment. She drifts into it slowly, emotionally, almost without realizing what is happening. That's why the man who understands her inner world never needs to chase. He never needs to convince. He simply stays present long enough for her to feel, and feeling is everything. When a woman feels understood, she feels safe. When she feels safe, she becomes curious. When she becomes curious, desire begins to rise. Most men break this chain by moving too fast. They touch too quickly. They speak too much. They reveal too much intention. And when intention becomes obvious, her guard comes back up. A woman wants to feel your desire, but she wants to feel it in a quiet way, a calm wanting, a steady wanting, not a hungry one. That's why you never look at her like you need her. You look at her like you enjoy her. There is a difference. Need feels heavy, enjoyment feels light, and women are drawn to lightness. When you sit with her and let her speak, when you listen without interrupting, when you look at her while she talks, she feels something very rare. She feels chosen, not because you said it, but because you showed it. And that feeling begins to soften her. She begins to feel more relaxed around you. Her voice becomes softer. Her movements become slower. These are the signs that intimacy is already growing. You don't interrupt this with questions. You don't ruin it with jokes. You let it deepen. Silence is your ally. Silence allows her to feel herself around you, her emotions, her body, her attraction. And when she feels that she wants to move closer, that's when you gently close the distance. Not suddenly, not dramatically, just a small shift. Your shoulder brushes hers, your knee touches hers, and you stay there. You don't pull away, you don't rush forward. You let her nervous system decide. If she stays, that's your answer. If she leans in, that's your answer. If she relaxes into it, that's your answer. Women do not say yes with their mouths first. They say it with stillness. They say it by not moving away. The man who understands this never faces rejection because he only moves when she is already open. And when a woman is open, intimacy feels natural. It doesn't feel like a risk. It feels like relief. Relief from holding back. Relief from pretending. Relief from denying what she already feels. That's why you never ask her if she wants more. You let her experience more. You might say softly, "I like being this close to you." That statement does something powerful. It gives her permission to enjoy the moment. And when she enjoys it, she goes deeper. You didn't tell her what to do. You let her feel what she wants. That is true seduction, not control, not manipulation. Presence. A woman does not give herself to a man who pressures her. She gives herself to a man who makes her feel safe to be herself. When you stay calm, when you stay grounded, when you stay emotionally present, her walls come down because her nervous system feels held. And once her nervous system is held, her heart opens. And when her heart opens, her body follows. That's the sequence. Not words, not techniques, feeling. This is what most men never learn. They try to skip the emotional layer and go straight to the physical. But the physical is always a reflection of the emotional. When the emotional is open, the physical flows. When the emotional is closed, the physical resists. So your job is simple. Stay calm, stay present, stay connected, and let her come to you. Because a woman never rejects what she chooses. And when you lead her gently into that choice, she feels powerful, not pressured. And that is the deepest attraction of all. A woman always knows when something inside her has shifted. She may not be able to explain it, but she feels it in her chest, in her breath, in the way her body responds to you. That quiet warmth that begins to grow when she sits close to you. That's not imagination. That's her nervous system opening. And once that happens, she becomes receptive. Receptive to your presence, receptive to your touch, receptive to the moment. That's why you never rush her through it. You let it build. You let the silence between you become thick with emotion. You let her feel the connection instead of forcing her to think about it. Because thinking creates distance. Feeling creates closeness. When you look at her and stay still, she feels that stillness. When you breathe slowly, she begins to match your rhythm. Humans synchronize with the people they feel safe with. And when a woman synchronizes with you, intimacy has already begun. You don't need to say anything sexual. In fact, saying less makes the moment stronger because her imagination starts filling in the space. And imagination is where her desire lives. That's why a soft sentence like, "I like being here with you," can feel more intimate than 1,000 explicit words. It brings her into the moment. It anchors her in what she's feeling. And when she becomes aware of how good it feels to be with you, she naturally wants more of it. This is the art of emotional seduction. You let her experience herself around you, her warmth, her openness, her attraction, and when she feels those things, she doesn't resist them. She follows them. A woman doesn't want to feel like she is being taken. She wants to feel like she is choosing. So you never push. You allow, you create a space so safe and calm that she steps into it on her own. And when she does, intimacy becomes effortless because she is no longer deciding. She is flowing. And flow is where desire lives. When her body leans toward you, when her voice softens, when she stays close, these are not small signs. These are her saying, "I feel something here." The man who recognizes this never needs to worry about rejection because he only moves when she is already moving toward him. That's the real secret. You don't create desire, you reveal it. And when you let a woman reveal her own desire, she feels powerful. And a woman who feels powerful in her desire doesn't pull away. She moves closer. A woman feels attraction in waves. It doesn't crash all at once. It rises gently, quietly, like warmth spreading through her body. When she's around a man who is calm and emotionally grounded, those waves get stronger. She begins to feel herself more. Her breath, her heartbeat, the way your presence changes the space. That's why real intimacy doesn't start with touch. It starts with awareness. Awareness of you. Awareness of herself. Awareness of the moment. When you let her feel that awareness without interrupting it, she naturally moves closer. Most men destroy this moment by becoming impatient. They try to make something happen, but desire hates being forced. Desire only grows when it feels free. So you give her freedom. Freedom to feel, freedom to lean in, freedom to stay. And when she chooses to stay, that choice is everything. You might notice her feet turning toward you, her knees staying close, her hands resting near yours. These are not accidents. These are her body saying, "I am comfortable here," and comfort is the foundation of intimacy. When a woman feels comfortable with you, she feels emotionally naked. And emotional nakedness always leads to physical closeness. That's why you don't break the moment with words. You don't ask questions. You don't rush. You let her sit in the feeling. And then slowly, gently, you might brush your hand against hers, not to grab, not to pull, just to acknowledge. That tiny touch sends a message straight to her nervous system. "I see you. I feel you." And when she feels seen, she opens even more. Her breath becomes deeper, her eyes become softer, and the space between you disappears. This is where intimacy lies. Not in effort, not in strategy, but in connection. A woman does not give herself to a man who wants her. She gives herself to a man who makes her feel safe to want him. So you stay steady, you stay relaxed, you stay present, and you let her come to you. Because the moment she does, rejection no longer exists. There is only two people choosing the same moment. A woman begins to trust the moment when nothing is being demanded from her. When she doesn't feel like she has to perform, decide, or defend herself. When she can simply exist in the space with you. That's when something beautiful happens. Her body stops being tense. Her thoughts stop racing. Her awareness moves from her head down into her chest. And in that quiet space inside her, desire starts to speak. You can feel it in the way she stays close, in the way she doesn't pull away, in the way her eyes linger on yours. That lingering is not accidental. It's her heart quietly reaching out, so you don't rush to fill it with words. You let it stay, because intimacy grows in stillness. When you sit beside her and remain calm, when your breathing is slow and steady, she begins to mirror you. Her breath slows, her shoulders drop, her presence softens. This is the nervous system relaxing. And when a woman's nervous system relaxes, her emotional walls fall. That's when she becomes open to closeness. You don't need to tell her what you want. She already feels it. You just need to stay in the moment long enough for her to feel safe feeling it. You might gently say something simple like, "I like being here with you." Those words don't pressure her. They simply acknowledge what's already happening. And acknowledgement makes the moment deeper. It makes her more aware of her own warmth, her own attraction, her own desire. And when she becomes aware of it, she allows it. That is the magic. Not taking, not pushing, allowing. A woman never resists what she allows herself to feel. And when you create a space where she feels safe to allow intimacy flows naturally, she leans closer, she stays, she opens. And in that opening, there is no rejection. There is only connection. And when you understand all of this, something changes inside you. You stop chasing, you stop forcing, you stop trying to prove anything. You become calm, you become present, you become the space where a woman feels safe enough to want you. And when you become that man, rejection no longer controls you. Because women don't reject emotional safety. They don't reject calm confidence. They don't reject a man who makes them feel seen, understood, and gently led. They lean into him. So remember this, you never need to ask for intimacy. You only need to create the moment where it feels natural, where it feels warm, where it feels right. And when a moment feels right to a woman, she doesn't resist it. She moves toward it. Thank you for listening.